The Alien Princess's Vision. On the distant world of Zenoria, towering crystal spires reach toward twin moons hanging low in a lavender sky. The air shimmered with an ethereal energy, a manifestation of the potent magical forces that flowed through every aspect of Zenorian life. At the heart of the gleaming capital city stood the royal palace, its iridescent walls pulsing gently with power. Princess Lyria stood at her bedroom window, her luminous silver eyes fixed on the horizon. Her slender form was draped in flowing robes of shimmering fabric that seemed to change color with her every movement. Long, pale blue hair cascaded down her back, adorned with delicate crystals that chimed softly as she shifted her weight. For weeks now, Lyria had been plagued by a recurring dream, visions of a great beast, majestic and terrifying, emerging from the sacred pools deep within the whispering forest. In her dream, the creature's arrival heralded a time of great change for Zenoria. But whether that change would bring salvation or destruction, she couldn't say. "Your Highness," a gentle voice called from the doorway. Lyria turned to see Theron, her most trusted advisor, standing there. His deep violet skin seemed to absorb the ambient light, and his forearms were folded neatly behind his back. "The council is assembled and awaits your presence." Lyria nodded, taking a deep breath to center herself. "Thank you, Theron. I'll be there shortly." As she made her way through the winding corridors of the palace, Lyria's mind raced. She knew she had to tell the council about her visions, but she feared their reaction. The elders were set in their ways, resistant to change, and lately, change seemed to be the only constant in Lyria's life. The council chamber was a vast, circular room dominated by a massive table carved from a single piece of translucent crystal. As Lyria entered, the assembled advisors and elders rose, bowing their heads in respect. She took her place at the head of the table, her heart pounding. "Esteemed members of the council," Lyria began, her voice steady despite her inner turmoil. "I've called this meeting to discuss a matter of great importance. For weeks now, I've been experiencing visions, prophetic dreams that I believe foretell a significant event in Zenorian history." Murmurs rippled through the assembly. Prophecy was rare among their people, and not to be taken lightly. Elder Zax, his weathered face creased with concern, leaned forward. "What have you seen, Your Highness?" Lyria closed her eyes, recalling the vivid images that had haunted her sleep. "I see a great beast, unlike any creature known to our world. It emerges from the sacred pools of the whispering forest, bringing with it a surge of power that shakes the very foundations of our reality." The council chamber erupted in a cacophony of voices, some fearful, others skeptical. Lyria raised a hand, calling for silence. "I believe this vision is a warning, or perhaps an opportunity. Our world is changing, and we must be prepared to change with it." Elder Vex, his crystalline beard glinting in the chamber's soft light, spoke up. "With all due respect, Your Highness, visions can be misinterpreted. Perhaps this is merely a manifestation of your own anxieties about ascending to the throne." Lyria felt a flare of frustration, but she kept her voice calm. "I understand your skepticism, Elder Vex, but I assure you, this is more than mere anxiety. The energy I felt in these visions, it was unlike anything I've ever experienced. We must investigate further." Thuron stepped forward, his multiple eyes blinking in sequence. "If I may, Your Highness, perhaps we could send an expedition to the Whispering Forest. If there's any truth to these visions, we may find evidence there." Lyria nodded, grateful for her advisor's support. "An excellent suggestion, Theron. We'll assemble a team immediately." As the council debated the details of the expedition, Lyria's mind wandered back to her visions. There was something she hadn't told them, something she couldn't quite explain. In her dreams, she had sensed another presence, something foreign yet oddly familiar. It wasn't Zenorian, of that she was certain, but what it was, she couldn't say. The meeting adjourned, and Lyria found herself once again staring out over the city. The twin moons had risen higher now, casting a soft, otherworldly glow over the crystal spires. She couldn't shake the feeling that everything was about to change. "Your Highness." Theron's voice pulled her from her reverie. "The expedition team is assembled and ready for your inspection." Lyria turned, offering her advisor a small smile. "Thank you, Theron. Let's go meet them." The palace courtyard was a hive of activity as the expedition team made their final preparations. Lyria moved among them, speaking words of encouragement and offering blessings for their journey. As she watched them depart, a shiver ran down her spine. She couldn't shake the feeling that this was only the beginning of something much larger. That night, as Lyria prepared for bed, her mind was a whirlwind of thoughts and emotions. She stepped out onto her balcony, the cool night air caressing her skin. The city below was quiet, its inhabitants unaware of the potential upheaval that loomed on the horizon. As she gazed up at the stars, a sudden flash of light caught her attention. A streak of fire blazed across the sky, growing larger by the second. Lyria's heart raced as she realized it wasn't a meteor, it was a ship, and it was heading straight for the Whispering Forest. In that moment, Lyria knew with absolute certainty that her visions had been real. The change she had foreseen was coming, and it was arriving from beyond the stars. As the ship disappeared behind the distant tree line, Lyria made a decision. She couldn't wait for the expedition team to return. She had to see for herself what had fallen from the sky. With quick, decisive movements, Lyria changed into more practical attire, a form-fitting bodysuit designed for stealth and agility. She pulled on a pair of soft, flexible boots and fastened a slim belt around her waist, various tools and devices hanging from it. As she prepared to leave, Lyria hesitated. Should she inform the council? Theron? But no, she realized. They would only try to stop her, to protect her. And right now, Zenoria needed its princess to be bold. Slipping silently through the palace corridors, Lyria made her way to the hidden passage that led to the city below. Her heart pounded with a mix of fear and excitement as she emerged into the quiet streets, the twin moons lighting her way. As she reached the outskirts of the city, Lyria paused, looking back at the gleaming spires of her home. Then, with a deep breath, she turned and plunged into the shadowy depths of the Whispering Forest, unaware that her actions were about to set in motion a chain of events that would change not only Zenorian, but the entire galaxy. An unexpected arrival. The Whispering Forest lived up to its name. As Lyria made her way through the dense undergrowth, she could hear the faint murmur of countless voices carried on the breeze. The trees themselves seemed to be alive, their bioluminescent leaves pulsing gently in rhythm with some unheard melody. Lyria moved with practiced ease, her natural agility enhanced by years of training. She had explored these woods countless times as a child, but never at night, and never with such a sense of urgency. The crashed ship was her goal, but as she ventured deeper into the forest, she couldn't shake the feeling that she was being watched. Suddenly, a crack of thunder split the air, causing Lyria to stumble. She looked up, expecting to see storm clouds gathering, but the sky remained clear. Another boom echoed through the trees, and this time Lyria recognized it for what it was, the sound of something massive moving through the forest. Her heart racing, Lyria quickened her pace. The sounds were coming from the direction of the sacred pools, the very place where, in her visions, she had seen the great beast emerge. As she neared the clearing that housed the pools, the air grew thick with an unfamiliar energy. It crackled against her skin, making her hair stand on end. Lyria slowed her approach, moving silently from tree to tree until she reached the edge of the clearing. What she saw there made her gasp in awe and fear. The sacred pools, normally a serene oasis of crystal-clear water, were churning and bubbling like a cauldron. Steam rose from the surface in great plumes, obscuring much of the clearing. But through the mist, Lyria could make out a massive shape moving near the largest pool. It was the beast from her visions, a creature unlike anything she had ever seen. It stood easily 3 times her height, its body a seamless blend of organic and mechanical parts. Plates of what looked like living metal shifted and realigned as it moved. and its eyes glowed with an inner fire that seemed to pierce right through the mist. But it wasn't alone. Near the edge of the clearing, half hidden by the underbrush, lay the crashed ship. It was small, barely large enough for a single occupant, and unlike any vessel Lyria had ever seen. Its sleek design spoke of advanced technology, far beyond anything Xenorian possessed. And emerging from the wreckage, looking battered but very much alive, was a being Lyria instantly recognized as not being from her world. The stranger was humanoid in shape, but there the similarities to Xenorian ended. Its skin was a pale color Lyria had never seen before, and it lacked the bioluminescent patterns that all Xenorian possessed. It wore strange clothing, torn and singed from the crash, and in its hand, it clutched some kind of device that emitted a soft, pulsing light. As Lyria watched, frozen in place, the stranger stumbled forward, its gaze fixed on the great beast. It called out in a language Lyria didn't understand, its voice hoarse but determined. The beast turned, its glowing eyes focusing on the newcomer. For a moment, everything was still. Then, with a speed that belied its massive size, the beast lunged forward. Lyria's body moved before her mind could catch up. She burst from her hiding place, her hands already weaving the complex gestures of a protection spell. A shimmering barrier sprang into existence between the beast and the stranger, just as the creature's massive claws came slashing down. The impact sent shockwaves through the clearing, nearly knocking Lyria off her feet. She gritted her teeth, pouring more power into the barrier. The beast rolled in frustration, rearing back for another strike. "Run!" Lyria shouted to the stranger, not knowing if it could understand her. To her relief, it seemed to get the message. The being scrambled to its feet, eyes wide with a mix of fear and awe. But instead of fleeing, the stranger did something that shocked Lyria to her core. It raised the device in its hand, pointed it at the beast, and activated it. A beam of intense energy shot forth, striking the creature squarely in the chest. The beast howled in pain and rage, staggering backward. Its metal plates glowed red-hot where the beam had struck, and for the first time, Lyria saw fear in its glowing eyes. Taking advantage of the creature's disorientation, Lyria grabbed the stranger's arm. "Come on," she yelled, pulling it towards the edge of the clearing. This time, the being didn't hesitate, allowing Lyria to lead it into the relative safety of the dense forest. They ran for what felt like hours, the sounds of the enraged beast fading behind them. Finally, when Lyria's lungs felt like they were about to burst, she slowed to a stop in a small, secluded glade. The stranger collapsed against a tree, breathing heavily. For a long moment, they simply stared at each other, both trying to process the incredible events that had just transpired. Lyria's mind was reeling. The beast from her visions was real, more terrifying and powerful than she could have imagined. And this stranger, this being from beyond the stars, had faced it without hesitation. "Who are you?" Lyria finally asked, her voice barely above a whisper. "What are you doing here?" The stranger looked at her, confusion evident on its face. It spoke again in its strange language, gesturing with its hands in what seemed to be an attempt at communication. Lyria shook her head, frustrated. She pointed to herself. "Lyria," she said clearly, then gestured to the stranger. Understanding dawned in its eyes. "Alex," it said, tapping its chest. "Alexander Harper." "Alex," Lyria repeated, testing the unfamiliar name. She pointed towards the sky, then at Alex, raising her eyebrows in question. Alex nodded, then pointed at the device still clutched in its hand. It mimicked the action of the device firing, then gestured towards where they had fled from, its expression grim. Lyria turned to Alex, her eyes shining with excitement. "This is just the beginning," she said, gesturing to the forest around them. "Our worlds, united, can achieve greatness beyond imagination." Alex nodded, his expression mirroring her enthusiasm. He held up his newly transformed weapon, then pointed to Lyria's crystal-enhanced magical aura. "Science and magic," he said. "A new frontier." As they made their way back towards the Zenorian capital, Lyria's mind raced with possibilities. The beast may have been defeated, but she knew that greater challenges and greater opportunities lay ahead. The galaxy was vast, filled with wonders and dangers beyond comprehension. But with the alliance between Earth and Zenorian, they stood a chance of not just surviving, but thriving. The crystal spires of the capital came into view, gleaming in the light of the rising twin moons. Lyria squared her shoulders, ready to face the council and usher in a new era for her people. With Alex by her side, representing the best of what Earth had to offer, she knew that the future held infinite potential. As they approached the city gates, a thought struck Lyria. She turned to Alex with a mischievous smile. "You know," she said, "I had a vision of a great beast emerging from our sacred pools. I never imagined it would lead to a friendship that could reshape the stars themselves." Alex grinned back, the weight of their shared adventure evident in his eyes. "Sometimes," he replied, "the greatest discoveries come from the most unexpected places." Together, the alien princess and the human explorer stepped into the city, ready to bridge the gap between their worlds and forge a path to a brighter, united future. Cosmic convergence. As Lyria and Alex entered the Grand Council chamber of the Zenorian Palace, they were met with a scene of chaos. The elders were gathered around a swirling vortex of energy that hovered ominously in the center of the room. Theron rushed to Lyria's side, his multiple eyes wide with concern. "Your Highness," he gasped, "the defeat of the beast has triggered something unprecedented. The fabric of reality itself is unraveling." Alex's quantum entanglement communicator began to emit a high-pitched whine. He activated it, and a holographic image of Earth appeared, surrounded by the same swirling energy they saw in the chamber. "It's happening everywhere," Alex said, his voice filled with awe and trepidation. "The convergence of our worlds has catalyzed a multiversal collapse." Lyria stepped forward, her mind racing. The beast, she realized, it wasn't just a creature. It was a linchpin, holding different realities apart. By defeating it, we've initiated a cosmic reboot. The council erupted into panicked discussions, but Lyria raised her hand for silence. "This isn't the end," she declared. "It's an opportunity for cosmic evolution." Alex nodded, understanding dawning in his eyes. "You're right. If we can harness this energy, we could reshape reality itself. Create a new universe that combines the best of all worlds." Lyria turned to the council. "We need to act fast. Theron, gather our most powerful mages. We're going to attempt a spell on a scale never before imagined." As Theron hurried to comply, Alex began rapidly modifying his equipment. "I'm reconfiguring my nanites to interface with your magic on a quantum level," he explained. "If we can create a harmonic resonance between science and sorcery, we might be able to stabilize the convergence." The next few hours were a whirlwind of activity. Zenorian mages joined hands with Earth scientists who had been transported through the dimensional rifts. Together, they formed a circle around the swirling vortex, their combined powers creating a dazzling light show that illuminated the entire city. Lyria stood at the heart of it all, her body glowing with an intensity that rivaled the twin moons. Alex stood beside her, his modified nanites swirling around them both, bridging the gap between the mystical and the technological. "Ready?" Lyria asked, her voice echoing with otherworldly power. Alex grinned, the thrill of scientific discovery shining in his eyes. "Born ready, princess. Let's rewrite the cosmos." With a shared nod, they plunged their hands into the vortex. The effect was immediate and staggering. Energy coursed through their bodies, connecting them to every parallel universe, every alternate reality. In that moment, they could see the infinite possibilities stretching out before them. Lyria began to weave a spell of cosmic proportions, her words resonating with the fundamental frequencies of creation. Alex's nanites amplified her magic, translating mystical energy into scientific principles and back again in a perpetual loop of innovation. The vortex began to stabilize, its chaotic swirling resolving into a structured fractal pattern. Through their combined efforts, Lyria and Alex were literally redesigning reality, cherry-picking the best aspects from countless dimensions to form a new, harmonious whole. As the process neared its completion, a blinding light engulfed everything. For a moment that stretched into eternity, all of existence held its breath. Then, with a thunderous boom that echoed across newborn galaxies, the light receded. Lyria and Alex found themselves standing on a hill overlooking a landscape that defied description. Crystal spires reminiscent of Zenorian architecture stood alongside sleek, futuristic Earth-style buildings. The sky above was a kaleidoscope of colors, with multiple moons and stars arranged in impossible, beautiful configurations. "We did it," Alex breathed, his eyes wide with wonder. "We actually reshaped reality." Lyria nodded, a smile of pure joy spreading across her face. "Welcome to Neo-Zenoria," she said, gesturing to the world around them. "A perfect blend of all realities, where magic and science coexist in harmony." As they surveyed their new domain, they noticed changes in themselves as well. Lyria's skin now shimmered with constellations, a living map of the cosmos. Alex found he could manipulate energy fields with a mere thought, his body having fully integrated with his nanite technology. "You know," Alex said, turning to Lyria with a grin, "I came to your world chasing a mysterious beast. I never expected to end up co-creating a brand new universe." Lyria laughed, the sound like tinkling crystals in the new air of Neo-Zenoria. "And I never thought my prophetic dreams would lead to a cosmic reboot. I suppose we make quite the team." As they stood there, gazing out at the infinite possibilities stretching before them, they knew that their adventure was far from over. Neo-Zenoria was just the beginning. With the power of combined realities at their fingertips, there was no limit to what they could achieve. The age of cosmic evolution had begun, and Lyria and Alex were ready to lead the way into a future brighter than any single universe could have imagined. Hyperdimensional ascension. The newly formed Neo-Zenoria thrived under the guidance of Lyria and Alex. Their unique blend of magic and technology ushered in an era of unprecedented growth and harmony. However, as the cosmic dust settled, they began to notice strange anomalies at the edges of their reborn universe. "The quantum fluctuations are increasing," Alex said, his brow furrowed as he studied the holographic readouts floating around him. "It's as if our universe is evolving on its own." Lyria nodded, her constellation-mapped skin pulsing with ethereal light. "I sense it too. The magical ley lines are shifting, forming new patterns I've never seen before." Suddenly, a blinding flash of light erupted in the sky, and a massive translucent being materialized before them. It was humanoid in shape, but composed entirely of swirling energy and abstract mathematical equations. "Greetings, shapers of reality," the being's voice resonated in their minds. "I am the Omega Overseer, guardian of the multiverse. Your actions have set in motion events beyond your comprehension." Lyria and Alex exchanged glances, a mix of awe and apprehension on their faces. "What do you mean?" Alex asked, his nanites swirling protectively around him and Lyria. The Omega Overseer's form shifted, displaying countless realities within its ethereal body. "By merging realities and creating Neo-Zenoria, you've initiated a chain reaction. The multiverse is collapsing into a singular hyperdimensional construct. Is that bad?" Lyria ventured, her magical aura flaring in response to the cosmic energies surrounding them. "It is neither good nor bad," the Overseer replied. "It is evolution on a scale beyond imagination, but it requires guidance. You two, with your unique blend of science and sorcery, are the key to navigating this transformation." Before they could respond, the world around them began to shimmer and distort. Neo-Zenoria, and indeed the entire universe they had created, was being drawn into a swirling vortex of pure possibility. Quickly, the Overseer urged, "You must use your combined powers to stabilize the hyperdimensional merge. The fate of all existence hangs in the balance." Lyria and Alex nodded, their resolve hardening. They had reshaped reality once. They could do it again. Alex's nanites expanded, forming a complex web of quantum entanglement that stretched across the cosmos. Lyria began an incantation, her words resonating with the fundamental frequencies of creation itself. As their powers intertwined, they felt their consciousness expanding, encompassing the entirety of the collapsing multiverse. In this state of cosmic awareness, they could see the infinite strands of reality converging. With careful precision, they began to weave these strands together, creating a new tapestry of existence that transcended traditional concepts of space and time. As they worked, they encountered echoes of themselves from alternate realities, countless Lyrias and Alexes who had taken different paths. In a moment of inspiration, they began to merge with these alternate selves, absorbing their knowledge, experiences, and unique abilities. The process was overwhelming, their minds struggling to contain the vast influx of information and power. But as they pushed through the cosmic barrier, something miraculous happened. Their consciousness began to synchronize not just with each other, but with the very fabric of the new hyperdimensional reality they were creating. With a final, reality-shaking burst of energy, the merge was complete. The swerving vortex of possibility collapsed in on itself, then exploded outward in a dazzling display of cosmic fireworks. As the newborn hyperdimensional universe stabilized, Lyria and Alex found themselves transformed. Their bodies were now composed of pure energy, shifting between countless forms representing all possible versions of themselves across the multiverse. The Omega Overseer reappeared, its form now intertwined with the very fabric of the new reality. "Congratulations," it said, its voice filled with a mixture of pride and awe. "You have successfully guided the birth of a new form of existence. Welcome to the Omniverse." Lyria and Alex marveled at their surroundings. The Omniverse was a breathtaking tapestry of interconnected realities, where thoughts could reshape entire galaxies and the laws of physics were mere suggestions. "What happens now?" Lyria asked, her voice echoing across dimensions. "Now," the Overseer replied, "you take your place as the guardians of this new existence. Your journey has only just begun." As they surveyed their new domain, Lyria and Alex realized the true magnitude of what they had accomplished. They were no longer just an alien princess and a human explorer. They had become cosmic entities, shepherds of reality itself. "You know," Alex said, his form shifting to display the countless adventures they had shared across realities, "when I crash-landed on your world, I never imagined it would lead to this." Lyria laughed, the sound rippling through the fabric of the Omniverse. "And I never thought my prophetic dreams would result in us becoming hyperdimensional beings. I suppose life, or existence, is full of surprises." Hand in hand, their energies intertwined, Lyria and Alex set off to explore the infinite wonders of the Omniverse. They had transcended the boundaries of their original worlds, of science and magic, of reality itself. The cosmic story of the alien princess and her human savior had evolved into an eternal tale of universal guardianship. As they vanished into the hyperdimensional expanse, their final thoughts echoed across all of existence. The greatest adventure isn't just exploring the unknown, it's creating it.